Hello, everyone. This is Abiodun Mustafa. Welcome to a special episode on the growth community. And every time, it's always a season to grow, to be intentional, to transform your life, to make a difference. And today, I have a friend, an amazing guest who will be sharing on the concept of personal evaluation and how it contributes to your productivity and profitability. A lot of times as humans, we get so involved in activities, we get so involved in the things we do every day, get involved in actions, you get involved in doing a lot of things, but we don't become deliberate about sitting down to retrospect and looking forward to the things we really want to achieve, which is why the concept of evaluating our lives for productivity and profitability is very, very crucial. And I have a friend who is an expert, a transformational coach, an author, speaker, and also a trainer who is versatile in this field and will be willing to share with us on how you as a person can evaluate your life and ensure you start making productive impact. All right. Welcome everyone and join me as I bring to Growth Community Michelle Ogunniyi. Michelle, welcome to Growth Community. It's nice having you again.
Thank you so much for having me here.
I remember that the last time we had a conversation like this was on Growth Secret podcast, where you shared about how people can transition from destructive habits to more profitable habits. And today we are coming with something more intentional, which is the concept of evaluation. So I would be leaving the floor for you, so you will share with us on how we as individuals can profitably and productively evaluate our lives. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abiodun Mustafa, for this great opportunity. I honestly do not take it for granted. And thanks to everyone who is watching this live session and listening to me right now. I really appreciate you. Thank you for choosing to be a part of this. And I do believe that you're going to get value from this session. So I'll just go straight into, let me introduce myself a bit, then I go straight into the topic. So I am Michelle Ogunniyi. Like you said, I am a transformational coach, speaker, and author, and I'm passionate about young people, helping them to maximize their potentials and to live to the fullness of all they have inside of them. Okay, so the topic I'm giving is to talk on the importance of evaluation for productivity and profitability. So how do you evaluate your life productively and profitably? So this concept of evaluation is something that many people do not really take intentionally or seriously, right? Because one of the hardest things to do is to actually face your truth or face the truth, right? So it's hard for us to come to terms with the fact that some things are not working, or some things are not the way they ought to be, or we are not actually having the kind of results that we want to have because we are not doing the things that we ought to do. It's actually very hard to come to those terms. And sometimes when we hear people give us feedback about our lives, we tend to feel bad. We tend to shy away from it. We tend to become defensive, put up an argument, put up a defense mechanism just to shy away from the fact that this thing is actually true. It takes a growth mindset to accept that, okay, I am not doing some things right. Some things are not working because there are certain things I am not doing. It takes a growth mindset to get to that point where you face yourself and face the facts and tell yourself the truth, no matter how hard it is. The truth is the truth odds, whether you're hearing it from somebody or you're the one telling yourself. And it's okay to maybe feel bad or feel embarrassed or feel ashamed and all of that. But one of the things you have to do is that you have to come to terms with the truth and be sincere with yourself. Where even if everybody is refusing to tell you what the truth is, or what they feel is wrong about you, you should be able to face yourself and tell yourself that, okay, these things aren't right, or these things I need to work better on and do better at. It's very important. So evaluating your life is something that has to come up as often as possible. I do this every time, like as often as possible, because it helps me to know where I am. It helps me to know what state I am, where I need to get to. So, we want to go to the next level. And I see a lot of people set goals. So I have, maybe prior to 2021, you had goals, you had expectations for yourself, you had things you wanted to achieve. And people set goals, and then you realize that I've set these goals and it's looking as if I'm not able to achieve them. One of the things that helps you to stay true to your goals, stay true to your your aspirations, is self-awareness. And this is what evaluation helps you to achieve. Evaluation helps you to get to know yourself more deeply, get to understand yourself better, and to understand how things work around you. So it's very, very important. If you want to achieve productive results, if you want to live a profitable life, then you need to embrace evaluation as often as possible. So let me give this example. Many of us are either in school or are done with school, whether secondary school, primary school, university. And at some point in your school, there was something called continuous assessment test or examination, which we often do maybe quarterly. That's for tests, maybe quarterly. And then for exams, we do that per session or per term, however it is. So you realize that the an examination is more like an evaluation process where you are you're being tested for what you've learned, for what you know. And it is how well you do in that examination that will determine your results, right? So let's say I'm in GS1 and I write an exam going to GS2. When I write the exam, my performance level tells me that, okay, you understand everything that you learned in this level and you are fit to go to the next level. So if I do not do well enough, I'll be asked to repeat or advised to withdraw whatever method that you had in your school. But this very simple example helps us to understand better what evaluation is and how evaluation works. So it is basically just, looking at your life and examining yourself to understand how you are actually going. Um, are you actually working towards the fulfillment of your goals? Are you working in line with those things that you've, set to yourself that I want to achieve? Are you fulfilling are you living to the best of your capacity? Are you fulfilling purpose? Are you doing the things that you ought to do as and when you ought to do it? It's very, very important that we come to terms with these things and be very, very sincere with ourselves. So this is something that, like I said earlier, I do it very often because I'm somebody who I am very big on growth. That's the truth. Because I know where God is taking me to. I know where I'm going, and I am very intentional about the fact that I have to get there and nothing must stop me from getting there. So I get to evaluate myself, and I love to receive feedback from people. So evaluation works in two ways, right? So the first and the most important thing is you and yourself, evaluating yourself by asking yourself important questions, writing them down, studying yourself, just basically doing a self-assessment. It's more like you maybe standing between your mirror or just having a quiet time with yourself where you have that moment of tete-a-tete. It's just me and me. I do that a lot, and sometimes it's funny. Recently, some weeks back, I noticed that I wasn't doing, I was lagging in certain areas of my life. To be very honest with you, I was lagging in certain areas. I wasn't doing as well as I ought to, because I know my capacity. I know what I am capable of doing. but it looked like I wasn't living up to expectations for myself, the expectations that I have for myself and the expectations that God has for me. Felt like, no. To every other person, oh, Michelle is doing well. I'm proud of Michelle. I admire her. I look up to her and everything. And those things are good when you get to hear such compliments from people. But the best thing, one of the most, the greatest thing you ever do to yourself is to take away all those appraisals and praises and everything that you get to hear from people and really face yourself and be sincere with yourself. So I looked at myself and I had to tell myself that I am not proud of you. That was a very hard thing to say. That was a very, very hard thing to say. But then I had to be very sincere with myself. I am not proud of you because you're not living up to expectation. And this is because I know my capacity. I know what I ought to be doing. I know how how well I ought to be living. But I was not giving my best as I should because of one reason or the other. I just felt laid back for some reasons that I couldn't even tell. I was just not in my own right mental state to just do anything. So I just shut down and shut everything out. And I just wanted to just be in my comfort zone. And I realized that it's not going to help me to get to where I want to get to. So I had to tell myself the truth and I had to be very sincere with myself that you're not doing as well as you should and you need to work on that. This is something that many people could find difficult doing. And it's even harder when you get to hear that from someone else. So why don't you be the first person to tell yourself the truth? So that's the first level of evaluation that you could have as a person, as an individual, where you sit down and write certain things down. You do like a SWOT analysis on your life. You assess your life basically, generally, spiritually, mentally, work wise, career, business wise, relationship. How am I actually really doing? What areas of my life do I need to work on? What areas of my life do I need to get better at? What do I need to begin to redirect? Do I need to start redirecting my steps? Are there things I'm doing that I should stop doing? Are there things that I am not doing as well as I ought to that I need to embrace and start doing well? These things will help us in, you know, just helping our lives to get better. So that's the first level of evaluation that we all need to go through, which is very, very important. The second level is where you get to have conversations with close friends and trusted people, family, friends, mentors, people that are more like voices of influence over you. And then you begin to ask them questions, sincere questions, and get sincere answers from them. So what do you think about me? How do you think, what do you think I should work on? What areas of my life do I need to get better at? These are practical things that we need to start to embrace. I'm sure that whatever I'm saying right now might not be new to anybody, as you must have heard it in sessions and read them in books. But this is very, very important. Like, I cannot under or overestimate the importance of having self-evaluation, talking to yourself and talking to people around you. So you should have friends that can actually talk sense into you if you are probably not doing what is right. You should have family members also. You should have mentors as well, people that you respect their opinions, you respect their thoughts, you respect what they say. You know that whatever they tell you comes from a good heart and it's because they really do genuinely care about you and they're all out for you to get better, for you to make progress and for you to just become a better person generally. So ask those people questions and get to know their thoughts about you and be willing to accept whatever it is that they say. We really need to accept it because one of the things that I've realized for a lot of people, everybody generally actually get to experience this where you don't want to hear anything that is negative about you, and that's normal for people, right? That's normal for people. I'm sorry, I saw a message, that was why I was stuttering. Okay, so Most people don't like to get negative feedback. I mean, nobody wants to hear that they are doing poorly. Nobody wants to hear that they are not doing as good as they should. Nobody wants to hear that they are they are slacking or they are not living up to expectations. You don't want to hear such stuff, but you need to grow a thick skin at some point where you must be willing to embrace the truth, no matter how hard it is for you. That is the only way you can grow. That is the only way you can grow. So by all means, you have to be sure that you are not having people that are only telling you good things or telling you the things that you want to hear, but you have people who can look you in the face and tell you that, see, you're not doing something right and you need to work on getting better. You need to work on becoming a better version of yourself. So there are things that could be like a blind spot to you. Every other person sees it, but you don't see it. Maybe somebody sees that, oh, you have issues when it comes to your emotions. You don't know how to control your emotions. You always snap at people at every slightest thing. You are too sensitive. You are overly emotional. You get angry unnecessarily, and all of that. These things might not be something that you really know or you've really come to terms with, but you need to be open to constructive criticism because that's what will help you to become a better person. And take note of these things, write them down, ask questions, be willing to listen to what people have to say. Important people, people that you know that they mean well for you. Hear what they have to say and take note of those things, write them down and work on them. That way you find yourself, growing intentionally and becoming better. Like I said, sometimes these things are not easy when you have to face yourself and tell yourself the truth, but it will help you grow. It will help you know areas of your life that you need to work on, right? So, for instance, in school, like I said earlier, when you write exams and you get you get below 40 in a particular course, you are asked to carry that course over. So it means that you didn't do as well as you should have in that course, and you need to go back again and rewrite it. Why were they doing those things in school? It's not because they hate us or they want us to go through embarrassment or they just want us to feel bad. I'm sure many of us felt bad when we saw certain results that had carryovers in them. I mean, I've experienced people crying, feeling terrible. I think I even heard of a case of a particular person that did something drastic when he saw his results. And as as relatable as these examples I'm giving are, that's how people, express themselves when they get to hear negative feedback about themselves, right? So feedback sometimes might not be good, sometimes they are good, but we must be willing to embrace them at all points because we are intentional about our growth. So, one of the things I do is I ask myself questions in specific areas of my life and I answer those questions genuinely. Evaluation is not something that you just do in the space of seconds and you just go away and move on like nothing happened. It's something that you have to take time out to do. You need your jotter, you need your pen, you need a quiet space, a quiet time where you begin to sit down and really think deeply about yourself and answer those questions. It's best that you write these things down because they help you to revisit them again to know if you really made progress on those things you learned or you're still the same person. So if, for instance, when it comes to relationship with people, you know that I am not so big on relationship, and this is one area of my life I need to work on. And you've written it down. It's one thing to actually know something, and it's another thing to live by it. So the problem with a lot of people is not that they don't have knowledge. I mean, we all do. We've gone to conferences, we've listened to messages, we've heard speakers, teachers, trainers, coaches tell us all kinds of things and we know them. Some of these things are not new to us, we know. But sometimes it's a struggle living up to what you know, actually doing living by what you know, right? It's a struggle. So maybe I know that I really struggle with disciplining myself when it comes to certain areas of my life. And I keep saying it, I know that I don't have discipline, I know that I don't have discipline, and I keep saying it. That's not a productive way to evaluate yourself. I see a lot of people do that. I have anger issues. I know I have anger issues. I know that ah, I can be very lazy sometimes. And then it becomes like a very light statement that we begin to make around friends when we are with ourselves. Like, I know that that's just the way I am. Like, that's just me. So evaluation leads to productivity when what you have noticed, or when what you have learned about yourself, you are acting upon it. You are intentional about the steps that you take. So you realize that this part of my life as is something is not right here, and I want to start taking actions where this is concerned, and I'm intentional about it. Maybe what I need is some level of accountability, where I need to reach out to certain persons, and maybe I need someone to hold me by the hand and help me to achieve this thing I want to achieve. Or I need a group of people, or I need a mentor that is of higher authority, that can push me, or not necessarily push me, but see me through, that I can always go back to at certain points. Right? These are very important. But what will help you to get to that state where you know what you want, or what you need to do, is evaluation. First of all, you need to first evaluate to know. Like sometimes you've been to the hospital before. If you've been to the hospital before, and maybe you had some symptoms, you're probably feeling sick, you have malaria, and then you go to the hospital. Before the doctor prescribe a medication for you, they ask you questions. So what are you feeling? How long have you been feeling this way? Do you feel pain in your stomach? Do you feel a headache? Have you been vomiting? I remember a particular time when I went to the hospital. I wasn't feeling okay. I think I had malaria then. I wasn't feeling okay, and then doctor started asking me questions, some very, very funny questions, like, have you been vomiting? This, that. And I knew that this man was probably trying to ask questions. Maybe what is wrong with this girl is not malaria. Maybe she's pregnant. Maybe it's typhoid. Maybe it's. But what many people tend to do most times is self-medication. So I'm feeling feverish. So I'm having temperature. I've been vomiting since morning. I beg, get me to go and buy malaria medicine, and I just take malaria medicine and I use it, and I realize that what is actually wrong with me is not malaria. What is actually dealing with me is typhoid fever. Something like this happened to my mom last year. She wasn't feeling too well, and she just generalized it as malaria. And she was using malaria drugs. She took injections for malaria. She was treating malaria, but she did not have malaria. And she realized that the more she kept treating this particular illness, the more it got worse. So instead of it to go, normally when you treat malaria, maximum of 3 days, 4 days, it's gone and you're okay. But a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, this sickness was still there and was getting worse, and we're scared. What's going on? I thought you used your medications, you used your drugs, you used everything that you felt you needed to use, but the sickness is still there. What's going wrong? So she now had to last went to the hospital, and then she realized that what she had was actually typhoid fever and some other complications like that. They now prescribed another medication for her to use, which she now started to use, and in space of few days, she got better. And that's what many people do. If you put that in context to how we live our lives on a daily, this is what we do. So we don't even know. You just realize I set goals. When December 2020 was here, I told myself, I'm just giving an example. And I told myself that 2020 was a bad year, or I did so many things happen in 2020. Now, 2021, I'm going to be very intentional. I'm going to do this. This is what I'm going to achieve. I'm setting my goals. 2021 is a year I'm going to make money. It's a year I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And you are so pumped up and excited about the new year. You're excited about the next phase of your life. I want to step into it, right into it, and begin to achieve things. And then you realize that few moments or few months or few weeks or few days, however it is, down the line, you are still stuck up. You're still the same person you were in 2020. You are still the same unproductive person. Nothing really has changed about you. You're just that person that probably is aware, or you just have knowledge on certain areas, but you're not able to produce with that knowledge. Nothing is really changing. What is really going on? And you struggle, you find yourself struggling, and at some point you just give up because you don't even know why you are like that. But this is what evaluation does for you. It brings you to a level of self-awareness where you understand why you are like this. You understand why you act the way you do. You understand why some things are not working out for you. You understand why you are having struggles in certain areas of your life. You just understand certain things about yourself, and it just helps you. It just helps you to be productive. I was having a conversation with a friend some weeks back, and it was talking about how he's naturally by nature is a goal-driven, choleric kind of person. People like that are always at the forefront, wanting to do their thing, wanting to build something for themselves, establish. They don't like to be confined in a particular spot. That's their nature. That's their personality type. They don't like to be confined. They're the adventurous people. They are the audacious people. They are bold. They can face any challenge up front, and they will smash it. They don't want to be told what to do. They want to fix things themselves. They're the fixers. They are the ones that they know what they ought to do. And it was like that, when he first got out of school, because he just wanted to do something. He went to just get a job at some place, and he just realized that he was just struggling to fit in, and things were not just, there was just like something trying to find expression in him, and it wasn't just in that space. It wasn't just him. He didn't like that steady life. Everything is just steady. There's no new challenge. You're just following the same due process, the same thing over and over again. There's nothing new to look forward to. Your creative ability is not really coming out as you want it to come to. And he struggled so much on the job, so much on the job. At some point, he realized that this thing is not for me. I am not cut out for this. And then he went out to really pursue what he really knew was meant for him, or what he really knew he wanted to do. That's some level of self-awareness that came into play at some point. Because when you don't really understand yourself, you find yourself in struggling to fit in a particular place. You find yourself trying so hard to do certain things, trying so hard to be like something, to do something. And that's why a lot of young people are under pressure. You see somebody is doing this today, I want to do it. You see this person is achieving this kind of results. You want to achieve the same thing. You don't know. And then you find yourself that, oh, you are doing this particular thing that this person is doing, but you're not getting the same result that that person is getting, because you don't really understand yourself. You don't really understand what works for you. You've not really taken out time to do a self-study, a self-analysis, a self-evaluation on you, to know where your strength lies, what your weaknesses are, the opportunities that you have, or the things that poses as threats to you. You don't know these things. You don't have much knowledge on self. And so it's affecting you. You just find out that things are not working for you. Before I got to a level of self-awareness to really understand what works for me in terms of career decisions, in terms of marital decisions, in terms of areas of my life, actually, I was struggling with so many things. And even sometimes I still find myself struggling with certain things. And that's made me to sit down and ask myself, what is really going on? What is really going on? What is wrong somewhere? What is wrong? And what do I really need to work on? So self-evaluation has really helped me to, enjoy a level of awareness that has helped me to become a better person. So I am not pressured to follow the path of other people, because I understand that my path is different and I've been called to a different path. So maybe everybody is doing a particular thing and it's working out for them, good for them. But for me, it's not working for me, because that is not what makes me as a person. We need to understand these things so you don't struggle to be in someone else's place. You don't struggle to be in someone else's shoes. You need to check yourself and have outer eyes, or what do I call it, external eyes. There's the internal eye that you use to look at yourself from within, and there's the external eye that you use to look at yourself from without. So many people can see what you don't see. There's something called the um, is it the Johari window, about different levels of awareness. So many people can see what you don't see. Many people can, but you cannot see it. And that's why the external eye is very important in analyzing self. Understanding your temperament will helps you a lot, because you know that this is this is why I act the way I act. And let me say something about this temperament thing, because a lot of people now use it the other way around and say, oh, I'm sanguine. I like to play. I'm never serious with anything. That's just the way I am. And just leave me like that. No. I believe the reason why the book was written was to help us to have some level of self-awareness, do some evaluation on ourselves, so that we can know areas of our lives we need to work on. And that's why it spells out our strengths and our weaknesses. So it tells you, these are your strengths as a sanguine, and these are your weaknesses as a sanguine. This is how you can work on your strength. And that's why the author had to write another one, the spirit control temperaments. That's okay. So now that you know what my temperaments are, these are the things I need to do to become a better version of myself. It's very, very important, so that you have a more balanced life, you have a more steady life, you understand what works for you and how it works for you. So evaluation cannot can never go extinct. This is what successful people do. This is what successful people do. Constantly analyzing. As a business owner, as a business owner, I'm sure that at some point or the other, you do some analysis on your business, or some evaluation on your business, to evaluate your profit and your loss. So what are the things that I need to start doing that would help me better going forward, that will help me to achieve more profit in this business? Or I've been making loss in this particular area. Why am I getting so much losses? Why am I not getting as much profit as I ought to? Or I am not getting customers as I should. Why am I not getting customers as I should? Somebody said something, I can't remember the person, but it says that it's only madness or it's only stupidity when you keep on doing something the same way and expecting the same result. And that's what a lot of people do. So I am doing this particular thing. I'm not getting the result that I want to get, but I keep doing it as often as possible. Yet I am still stuck. It takes some level of wisdom and understanding to tell yourself that, okay, these things are not working. Why are they not working? And that's where evaluation comes into play. Why are these things not working? Now, let me sit down and analyze it. Now that I've analyzed it and I see where the problem is coming from, I can do better. I can achieve better results. I remember the first time I put out a product, like a service sort of, and I didn't get as much revenue as I had envisaged that I would get from this particular thing. And I was really sad, because I had put in so much effort and work into bringing this thing out, and I wasn't getting the kind of result that I wanted to get. I needed to go back to ask myself questions. So what were the things that I did that made this thing not work? What were the things that I ought to have done that would have made me get the kind of result that I want to get? So in the next time I want to put this thing out, these are the strategies I'm going to implement to get the kind of result that I want to get going forward. So I don't keep repeating results, because that's what happens to us when we're in the state of unawareness. We find ourselves repeating cycles, repeating results. We're just going around in circles, doing the same thing over and over again, and achieving the same results over and over again. And you're wondering, what is wrong with me? You get frustrated, you get tired, you're angry with yourself, you're angry with everything around you. You can't just understand why these things are like this. So it helps you to know that, okay, no, I need to work on these areas of my life, and I need to get better. I need to become more intentional in this area. Okay, I am doing well here. That's very good for me. How can my good become better and my better become best? How can that happen? So how can I move from worse or from bad to good? How? This is how you can live a productive life. those people who are successful today, who are achieving great results in life, these are the things that they do. They evaluate, they ask questions, they're very true to themselves. They don't lie to themselves, because one of the greatest undoing that you do to yourself is to lie to yourself, or to deceive yourself, or to shy away from the truth. Never ever do that. No matter how hurtful the truth is, like I said at the beginning, never shy away from listening to the truth about yourself and telling yourself the truth. It will hurt. You will feel bad. You'll be sad. You'll be disappointed in yourself, or you feel that a lot of people are disappointed in you. But you know that after this, you're making progress and you're going to become a better person. So I told myself, I am not proud of myself. I have to be very plain. Even when my friend was trying to make me feel good and say, don't worry, you're doing well, you're doing better. I know you can do this, I know you can. I'm like, no, I am not, I'm not living up to expectations, because I know my capacity. I know that, when you know your level of capacity and you're not living up to expectations, you can tell. And that's why self-awareness is important, because you know what you're capable of doing. You know the kind of result that you're capable of achieving, but you are underperforming. You can tell when you're underperforming. You can tell when this thing is not, it's not, I have not gone beyond my limits. I am still within my comfort zone. I am still, I'm still dancing around my comfort zone, and I can actually stretch myself more if I want to achieve more. So you need that time of seclusion, that time of me, short distractions as much as possible, short distractions as much as possible, and just you and yourself, just answer questions, ask questions, write them down. And to do it better, there are there are questions on evaluation that can help you, on specific areas of your life, like being able to prioritize, knowing what your priorities are. So you find out that I struggle with time management. Some people talk about time management and all of that, but the truth is, it's actually more of self management than time management, because when you learn to manage yourself, then you will not have to struggle with managing your time. So, a lot of times, you just realize that I just struggle with, you know, time management. I struggle with procrastination, or I struggle with, doing things when I ought to do them, and being prompt to action. Then you need to ask yourself, what are my priorities? What are the things that are most important to me? Or maybe you're doing so many, one of the things I've learned about productivity is that there's business and there is productivity. So business, you could get caught up in the web of, I have so many things to do. I have a lot of tasks. I have so much on my plate that I need to do. And you are doing them, and you appear really busy to a lot of people, to yourself. And there's something that business does that it makes you feel like, when I have so much to do, then I'm productive. Business does not always equate to productivity. And that's one of the things I've learned over time, that I can be involved in so many activities and yet I am not living to the core of me. But how do you even know when you don't have that understanding of yourself enough to be able to access and analyze yourself better? So your priorities helps you to know that these are the areas that are most important. These are the areas of priority. These are the things that I should really place emphasis on. I should really put my focus on. And because they are more important. If you did economics in school, in secondary school, there's something they taught us about scale of preference, where you draw the things that are important to you in the order of priorities. So what is the most important thing to me? What is the most important thing that I ought to do? What is the most important activity that I should be engaging in? How do these things draw me closer to my goals? How do these things draw me closer to becoming the person that I ought to be? How do these things draw me closer into becoming the better version of myself that I envisage? This helps us a lot. So when you find yourself struggling, in certain areas like that, understanding your priorities helps you to to, achieve that. And, I recently wrote a very short workbook on evaluation. It's titled Accelerate, and it's a book that helps people to achieve productivity, right? So there are questions there, life questions that you can answer for yourself. You begin to look through those questions and begin to answer those questions by yourself. There are questions about your priorities, questions about your your goals, questions about your vision, questions about your life, your purpose, your mission statement in life. Because one of the things I am very big on is purpose. Like, I'm very big on purpose because I don't want to find myself running around and trying to, beat around the air and trying to just do everything. And I realized that the core of me was never fulfilled. That is the greatest undoing that we'll ever do to ourselves, when we run around in circles, trying to achieve every other thing, trying to bag every other kind of achievement. And this one most important part of our lives was neglected. And this is what a lot of people do. They are out there doing so much, but they are achieving so little because they do not know that there is a place of prioritizing our lives, prioritizing our commitments, prioritizing our mission, our time, so many things about ourselves. Very, very important. So in this book, you get to have questions on your vision, questions on timing, priorities, yourself, your personality type, character wise, areas of your life that are very important to your growth, that are very important to your personal development, that will help you to be more productive, that will help you to live a profitable life. These questions you need to answer so that you can always revisit them as often as possible, and you know where you need to work on, the things that you need to do to become better, and what you need to, focus on to achieve the kind of result that you want to achieve. These things are not far-fetched. They are not um far-fetched actually. So you just know that going forward, I'm not struggling to understand certain things about myself. And it's not necessarily about the pile list of goals that I set for myself, but about my level of awareness that helps me to be conscious of who I am and what I ought to be doing per time. So that you know that no matter the number of things I'm doing, it's not about the volume of what we do, but about the preciseness and how deliberate we are with the little things that that surrounds us. Because at the end, those are the things that count. It's not about the 80%, but the 20% that really, really matters. But we find ourselves trying to chase every other thing and we neglect the most important thing. So evaluation helps you to know the most important thing that you should prioritize and the things that you should focus on. So yeah, I think the book is on the screen. So if you like to get it, you can let me know. So I've used up to my time already, and I can now take questions. So if you have questions that you want to ask me, the floor is open for you to ask questions. Thank you so much for having me, Mr. Abiodun.
Insightful. That was also inspirational. And I guess a lot of people got value from that. If you got value from this session by Michelle, please let us know in the comment section by typing value, 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 value. Yeah, and that is the book, Accelerate. Activity does not equate productivity. You can be active in the wrong direction if you do not evaluate yourself effectively. And Michelle has done well telling us about having conversation with yourself, having conversation with people that matter, friends, family, and having intentional conversation that would help you accelerate your life. I think I need to really let you know why you need to get this book. Let me just share with you a couple of testimonies from this particular book, so you'll be sure on why you really need to go for this. Now, this is someone who actually said, finally, I was able to answer the questions in the workbook. Accelerate. Thank you for putting this wonderful workbook together, for it really helped in setting my 2021. And you can see all of that. The person got to the point where they asked, what are the things that brought the biggest reward for you in the past 5 to 10 years? I left it unanswered. Reason is I don't have a sincere answer for it now. Hopefully in 5 years' time, I will be having an answer to it. So you would have intentional questions in this material, in this particular workbook that would help you really, really transform your life. And it's not enough to celebrate having it, but going ahead to do the work in there. Going ahead to do the work in there. All right, I can see Tony saying value, value, value. Thank you, Tony, for letting us know that this was also valuable. And Michelle, we can see the book right now. Can you tell us exactly how we can get across to you if we want to get this book? What do we need to do? Is there a link to share? Is there somewhere to go? Can you just let us know? And while you are trying to do that, I want to really play the video that led to that book so audience can really see. So that's for that. Can you share with us how we can get this video? How we can get the workbook? What do we need to do? Is there a number to call? Is there a link to go to so that as many who would like to get advantage of this can actually do so? So how do we get this particular book?
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so the book is an ebook, right? So you can get it. There's a link I'm going to share, but you can send me a message on WhatsApp 0818 105 7549 0818 105 7549. So when you send a message, just send a message, accelerate, and I'll give you a link where you can get access to it. It's an ebook and it's available for just 1,500 naira. So a lot of people get to tell me that, Michelle, I don't like ebooks at all. I find it difficult to read ebooks, blah, 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 and all of that. But then this is what I get to tell everyone that has the same excuse. That number one, this is not the regular kind of ebook that you're just reading and reading and you're just reading so many things. This is more like an interactive kind of workbook where there are questions that are there, a little bit of nuggets that will help you to understand how to answer those questions. And then you have a list of questions where you can answer them. So all you need is a jotter and your pen and the workbook on your phone or on your system where you read through and answer those questions to yourself. So it's not just a book for just reading and all of that. Is a practical book where you get to answer questions. So if you have issues reading ebook, because I get that a lot from people, I have issues reading ebook, I don't want something too voluminous. It's not a voluminous book. It's a very short workbook that you use in evaluating yourself. It's basically for self-evaluation. There are questions there that you ought to answer. And all you need to do is just create that time for it. Have your jotter, your pen, sit down with it, create time and answer those questions. So you can get the book. Just send a message to me on WhatsApp. I'll send you the link to get the book. Once you get the book, you automatically get a redirect link to download your copy of the book. Or if you have issues with that, I could send it to you via your email. But then it's very easy for you to access it. And it's just 1,500 naira only. Thank you.
Wow, amazing. With so much of that value, you are giving it for 1,500. So I encourage you right now, if you want to accelerate your result in career, in your personal life, in your business, in your relationship, you want to make massive impact, and you want to see yourself soaring higher without doing the same thing and then trying to struggle amidst the massive number of people struggling out there, I want you to do something right now. Send a WhatsApp message to Michelle and tell her that I need a copy. So you should do that right now. Accelerate your results. Be tired of struggling and being stagnated at one point and start asking the right questions that can help you make that accelerated growth and impact. Thank you so much, Michelle. This was an amazing session, and it was also impactful, revelatory, and inspirational. And guess what? I want you to do something right now. When you are done, make sure you chat up Michelle. I appreciate that for this session. And go to YouTube right now and just search the name Michelle Ogunniyi. You are going to go on YouTube right now and search Michelle Ogunniyi. You would see an amazing podcast session she had on transitioning from destructive habits to more profitable habits. I think that's the only video of her that is currently present on YouTube, and it's going to watch a while. So thank you so much, Michelle. What are your last words for the audience as we begin to wrap up now?
Okay, thank you so much for having me, Mr. Abiodun. I do not take it for granted at all. And thanks to everyone that participated. Oh, Happiness, thank you. I can see you. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Tony, Esther. Thanks to everyone for being a part of this. I really do appreciate you. So before I leave, I just want to just drop this last word here. So I realized that there's a whole lot of pressure, that young people are experiencing these days. Pressure of performance, pressure to prove a point, pressure to achieve certain things, and there's so much on you because you see what every other person is doing, and you are under that pressure as well to do something or to achieve a certain kind of result. And that pressure sometimes leads to you feeling depressed or feeling bad about yourself or feeling less of yourself. But one of the things I'll have to tell you today is to learn to take things slow, be just understand your journey, understand that you're on a journey, and be intentional about working on your own journey. Do not allow the things that you are seeing, form your perspective about yourself and make you feel less of who you are. So just get rid of those kind of pressures that will make you just put yourself in a kind of box or make you want to do certain things that you ought not to do. Because I've noticed that this is like a trending thing that is happening to so many young people, and I'm very particular about young people actually. So please just get rid of every kind of pressure and just be intentional about your own journey and live your best life. Thank you once again for joining me here and choosing to be a part of it. And I look forward to getting your messages and also getting to hear your feedback in future about the book. I appreciate you a lot. God bless you.
Awesome. Amazing. So I'm adding something right now. I didn't discuss this with Michelle. For everyone that gets a copy, and Michelle confirms that you get a copy, I'll be granting you access to my private video on escape velocity networking that teaches you how to make global impacts, how to reach out to anyone in outside your continent. I did a session on that and the tools available to do it. And I'll be giving you a copy of my book, How to Find Purpose with Clarity Faster. I'll be giving you that for free. All you have to do is to get a copy of this book, and Michelle confirms to me that you have gotten it, and I will simply do that. Thank you, everyone. And
Thank you
Michelle,
so
I
much.
celebrate you. Thank you, Happiness. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Esther. Thank you. Um, yes, Mr. Luatobi, thank you so much for joining. Thank you, and thank you, everyone. So, Michelle, I would see you on the back end.
Thank you so very much.
All right, thank you. That was a great and amazing, exceptional session from Michelle Ogunniyi. So that's our WhatsApp number right here. Go ahead and reach her immediately. And if you get that book is confirmed, I will make you gain access to all of the bonuses and all that you can also get from me. And then also make sure you keep making intentional efforts to make your life better, keep changing the world, keep making exceptional contribution to your society, and always live your life as one who really want to leave a legacy. Till I come your way again and we have another session, have a growth and accelerated progress. Bye-bye. Cheers.